Catherine, this is a wonderful place to have an art show. I'm getting a free kebab. Stanek Gallery is presenting its first satellite exhibition at the Penn Treaty Village Penthouses on Brown Street in Philadelphia. I went to the opening and met a woman who has experience organizing so-called pop-up exhibitions.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Waring with Stanek Gallery, and tonight we are launching our first in a series of satellite exhibitions that we will be hosting citywide. Catherine Stanek and I have known each other since PAFA back in the mid-2000s. When I heard that she was interested in opening a fine art gallery, I immediately contacted her, and so we got together and discussed doing it for Stanek Gallery. The three of us, Deborah Fine, Catherine Stanek, and myself, sat down and discussed which artists we'd like to have in the satellite exhibition. We plan on hosting many of these shows citywide. Our next will be at a law firm, and we plan on going from there.
Pop-up exhibitions utilize non-traditional spaces for art shows, everything from restaurants and cafes to apartment buildings, parking lots, and even tattoo parlors. Often, a pop-up show only lasts a day or so.
This is different. There's a lot of really wonderful things about a pop-up show, but they're too fleeting. So this particular show is not here for 24 hours or a weekend or even a month. It's here for 6 months. And we're not selecting spaces just because they have walls and we want to throw some work on the walls. We're actually selecting spaces that emulates a gallery setting in some areas and also living setting in others that really make it an elegant presentation. Also, because it's up for 6 months, if somebody wants to acquire a piece, they can right away, they'll be able to buy it, and we'll replace it with another piece by that same artist or a collection by another artist.
I talked with two of the artists at the opening. Jacquelyn Boyd started art school at 47 and praises her husband for his support and encouragement.
I had to get her on the train every morning at 5 o'clock for 6 years. I was her trainer, yeah.
He always encouraged me, always. If it wasn't for him, I would have never been able to do it.
She told me about the push and pull she feels between tightly controlled realism and a more painterly abstraction.
I wanted to be trained classically and decided that I was going to go to the academy and start learning everything properly. I thought that I had to decide between representational and abstract, but I've given up deciding, and I'm allowing myself to do both. And when I paint, I don't know if it's going to be realistic or abstract until I get going. Sometimes I'll paint it tightly and very realistically, and then I'll just go to town on it. I was scared to do it because I liked what I had, because it was correct, but I wanted something more. I wanted something more powerful.
The first time she did this was with a piece called Intimate Spaces 1. Everything was precise and measured, but after a few days she turned it on its side and started painting over it in a much freer fashion.
And I destroyed the painting, but in that act of destruction, I got the looseness and the freedom that I was looking for. I had been searching for it all along, but I could never just get that type of looseness directly.
Teal Vase with oranges came to life in a slightly different manner.
I had painted a very tight painting of that same exact setup, but before I cleaned my brushes up, I just picked up another small panel and I loosely painted what I just painted in a very short period of time, and that was exactly what I wanted. But I was unable to achieve that unless I had painted it tightly first.
What happened to the first painting?
I still have it. It's framed and it's really very nice, but I prefer that one.
Laura Adams does extremely detailed paintings of shallow spaces with patterned surfaces. Her craftsmanship is exquisite. Here, sunlight plays upon wallpaper. A three-dimensional object will often project slightly from the flat background. I asked her what it's like to have work in a place like Penn Treaty Village.
It's fun. I mean, it's really neat to see the work go up in a non-sort of traditional gallery environment. Particularly seeing my one painting by the bar. I think there's something very interesting about that, and I'm imagining people, sitting there sipping their cocktails and looking at this painting. So
it's a beautiful painting with the frame.
Yeah.
I think it's a lovely piece. It says a lot. For some reason, maybe coincidence, but goes wonderfully with this room.
And this dapper barfly is not the only one who appreciates how the art meshes with the Penn Treaty environment.
I think it's great to have art shows in unusual places. I think it's fabulous. Absolutely. These are my favorite pieces right here. I think it's great.
And she's having hand surgery, so let's...
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is Deborah Fine.
Okay.
Debbie Fine is the co-owner, along with Catherine Stanek, of the Stanek Gallery. I can happily report that it was not her painting hand that got operated on, and all went well. She is already back in the studio, working on her lively color-filled abstractions, which have hints of artists like Cy Twombly and Philip Guston in them. Her paintings are built for contemplation. I always see something new in them. Artist Hollis Heikemer was out of town, but fortunately her husband was at the opening, and he gave me some insight into her remarkably evocative work.
Hi, I'm Alex Kaniewski. I am married to the artist here, Hollis Heikemer. As far as I know, this is what happens. Hollis goes running every single day. And on her runs, she sees things. Landscapes, nature, light, colors. And then she goes to her studio every day and paints, but she's not a representational painter. So what you see is a result of her runs, seeing what's out there, but then it's all changed through her abstract eyes. And what you see is a direct result in Hollis's eyes and in mine as well, because I know those paintings very well and love them. And I see the direct connection. But compared to the standard issue landscape, it is one step removed.
I love this painting. There's something about the depth of this painting. I am not an art person, but it actually seems three-dimensional. It's as if you can go right into this painting. It comes alive.
The fifth artist in the show, Patrick Lee, lives in Pittsburgh, but I managed to talk to him by phone.
I've been painting for 20 years at least. I went to Edinburgh University and got a BFA in fine art, drawing and painting. I took kind of a hiatus for about 9 years, but then I started to take plein air painting, outdoor painting more seriously, and actually my studio painting too. The work you see at Stanek is the result of a lot of studio work and sketching and memory. Most of the paintings there, with the exception of one, done completely from imagination. I think the only one that wasn't was the intermission one with the people with the red carpet. But that's primarily how I like to work. From memory, feeling, imagination, I like there to be a mood in the work. I don't really think that the basis of the artwork needs to be subject matter driven. It can be shape or a series of colors you like, and it triggers something in you.
There's a great combination of abstraction and fairly believable realism in your work. How do you balance those two components?
I like to see what I can leave out. I might start with an idea, whether it's figurative, an interior, or even a landscape, and I was say, what are the abstract elements? What are the things I can put in to give you the suggestion of something? How much can I leave out and still have it be good. I always think of this quote Ernest Hemingway said, when you write something, take out all the parts you think are the best parts and see if it still can stand alone. Kind of like poetry in that you see how much you can say with the fewest words you can.
Patrick and all his fellow artists seem to find that sweet spot between abstraction and realism. All in all, this first satellite show is so good that maybe one day we shall see work from the Stanek Gallery on Jupiter and Mars.